The best micro market, arguably, being in San Diego, the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. La Jolla's, or when I first moved to San Diego, what I called La Jolla. La Jolla is an amazing neighborhood. The real estate's doing very well there. It's a fun place to go socially. Let's take a look at the La Jolla scene with our real estate elite, Seth O'Byrne.
I love La Jolla because it's a 100-year-old beach community. It's one of the first true coastal communities in San Diego, and you can really feel the history there. Downtown La Jolla, the Village, as it's known, is a great place for shopping, tourists, wonderful place to enjoy the culture of La Jolla, go down to the beach, but also come up and have all the conveniences of a major city. I would say La Jolla's Village is probably one of the greatest villages in the country. You can buy a condo in La Jolla as low as $350,000, all the way up to, we have listings out of our office in Sotheby's for $14 million, and really anywhere in the gamut. Why I would buy in La Jolla is because La Jolla typically through the decades has stood the test of time. Even in this major recession we just came out of, most La Jolla properties did not come down in value, similar to those around the county. At the same time, La Jolla has continued to reinvent itself, and I think is a very interesting, a very hip, and a very cool area. For the last 50 years, La Jolla really has been a global icon for Southern California luxury living. It offers everything I think someone would want if they're coming from anywhere around the world to live that Southern California lifestyle.
Here to talk about one of the greatest places in the world, Seth O'Byrne. Our real estate elite out of the La Jolla marketplace. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So Sotheby's, I noticed in the video you talked about properties, I don't remember what the low range was, but all the way up to $14 million. I know with Sotheby's, you guys attract a lot of those listings.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Actually, someone in our office sold an off-market property, can't even disclose the address, but it was almost $30 million out of our office.
Is that what usually happens when you get up to that price range? They don't even bother putting it on the market? Not to say they don't bother, but there's better strategies?
There's a sense of privacy that's really important, and our office absolutely has a lot of clients like that who like to remain very private, but I don't want to paint a picture of La Jolla like it's so unbelievably exclusive. I would say in a lot of ways, La Jolla is actually a more accessible luxury market than a lot of other markets. Even Rancho Santa Fe could take a long time to get to know, and down these country roads, it feels like kind of another planet. But La Jolla is, I think, a place that most people in San Diego have grown up going to. They know the beaches, they love the beaches, they enjoy La Jolla. And yes, you can get into something in La Jolla under the median housing price, a small condo. But if you're looking for a large estate or an oceanfront property, La Jolla has it as well. So it's kind of got best of all the worlds, and that's why it's such a strong market.
Now, the O'Byrne team, you guys got a new project going on there. I've seen this on your Facebook post. What's going on with you guys? Yeah, we have a new project here that you can see a photo. We're under construction and demo right now. 1032 Skylark Drive is the name of the street. Skylark's kind of a it street on the southwest corner of Mount Soledad, overlooking Windansea Beach over Bird Rock, and then you can even see all the way out down to downtown. This project was a property in disarray. My investor from Beverly Hills picked up this property and a couple other properties that we have coming up in the next 4 months. But this is really our sweetheart project. This is our most favorited project. It's going to be 4 huge bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, about 4,000 square feet on over an acre of land at the top of the hill of Mount Soledad. So it's a real, it's this type of property that I think, it's a real statement piece. So what specifically are you guys doing within it? I noticed the hard hats. You didn't have sledgehammers. I don't think you're necessarily doing all the work in there, but you got the hard hats. So you guys are just trying to develop this thing and get it to shine? Yeah,
I mean, I come on and we talk about this all the time, Craig, that marketing is really where we turn on. That's what we're most excited about. And this project is incredible, and our team has chosen to market for this entire fund all of the projects they do in San Diego in 2015 and 16 because they wanted innovative marketing. So we've actually been doing time-lapse photography as the project's been going on. We've come up in a helicopter, like usual, to do aerial photography of the property. We got it out to the news stations, and we actually tapped the shoulder of HGTV to try to get them to come on and look at us for, I don't know, maybe they'll tip their hat to the Flip That House
yeah,
series.
you know, I see your social media posts. You know, it's funny when you talk about marketing, and I've said this before as well, is there's the market, which Seth is an expert at, closes more business than anyone you'll ever meet. And then there's the marketing, which is a big reason that you do some of the numbers that you do, is because it attract a lot of buyers and sellers. But if you are buying or selling real estate, specifically selling, you obviously want someone who is savvy at marketing, because despite whatever the market is doing, the marketing can help you get top dollar, and Seth is excellent at this. I want to switch gears. I want to talk about something we recently were discussing on our radio show.
Sure.
Right? So you were on our show, and we were talking about something that's a little bit more sensitive when it comes to real estate. Not as fun as maybe talking about La Jolla, but what happens when you have a breakup in a marriage and you're going through divorce. Obviously, it's not a pretty situation emotionally or with the family, but a lot of times we're seeing that real estate can be involved in it, and a lot of decisions around that real estate, financial decisions, are made, and they're not necessarily done the right way. So this is something that you actually specialize in, and we've brought in Cassandra Hearns with the Laws of Cassandra Hearns, and it's good to have her in studio, so let's introduce her. Thank you for coming here.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So now she is a partner of yours. You guys work out in the marketplace, so help us understand, you know, the decisions that you make if you're in this kind of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cassandra and I have worked together now since almost like 2009, I think it is. We came together a long time ago because we had a lot of shared clients. I have a lot of clients who are looking for legal counsel when they're selling their homes, and maybe I sold them their homes, you know, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, and now unfortunately the divorce is potentially on the horizon, and so they need good counsel, you know, and vice versa. Cassandra contacts us all the time because a lot of people, when they're looking to do a divorce, real estate being their most valuable asset, as you see, or as you say, they need valuation. They need to understand what this property's worth to try to figure out how they're going to fund this divorce. So we've just had such a great last few years together with Cassandra. I thought it'd be great to bring her on and just show off what she does.
Well, it's a tough subject. So how do you start there? I mean, obviously the finances are part of the discussion.
Sure.
But first thing you have to do is obviously represent the client, make sure things part ways before, you know, it gets into Seth's hands and he helps, you know, facilitate the real estate. So some of the things that you see in a divorce, what are the things that you need to do?
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat, for most families, their home is their biggest asset.
I bet, yeah.
And so from the very beginning, it's important to look at that home and to decide what's going to happen with this baby, right? Yeah. Are we going to have to sell, or is there a way that one of us can keep it? The true answer, whether you're in La Jolla or anywhere else in San Diego, is oftentimes going to be, you got to sell. Yep. And so from the very beginning of the case, you want to get your advisors on board, like Seth here, so that he can do a professional valuation and give us all an idea of which way the case is going to go.
Well, and when you call it the biggest asset, I mean, I came into this segment talking about how real estate is your biggest investment. It's also where you've built all of these memories, right? There's probably kids involved in many cases, and you're talking about selling this home. I imagine that's not easy to decide what exactly to do. I mean, I'm sure both people want the home, or if you're going to leave, what happens with the equity? Maybe someone wants to refinance the property. I mean, what are some of the situations you see?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why we created that top 5 list, because we find that commonly those 5 things that we kind of work through are everyone sees in the same divorce. Thinking long term and big picture. Obviously, you know, Cassandra and I talk about this all the time. Many times you get so caught up in the reason for the divorce, or the emotions behind the divorce, or what ifings that you lose sleep over. But you have to think long term. You have to really think outside of the box, and that you have to make decisions now that will impact you positively in the next 10, 20, 30 years. And that's really a lot of what our partnership is all about, is trying to come in as advisors who are unbiased and really help think long term after this divorce.
Any mistakes you see people make on this front?
Oh, sure, all the time. A lot of times at the beginning of a case, there is no long-term perspective because clients are emotional. Divorce is not an easy thing to go through. And as you mentioned, there's oftentimes an emotional connection to the home. Yep. But if a client is able to look at the long-term picture and say, what can I really afford? is this house really worth me going through financial destruction just to keep it? Or would it be more appropriate for me to work together with my soon-to-be ex to figure out the best resolution for the home? And when you have clients who are willing to do that and are willing to work with a great real estate agent or broker, then you can really move things forward, and usually everybody comes out better in the end.
That's the goal, right? There's two ways it can end. It can be messy or end cordially, and hopefully protect the kids. Involved in real estate is obviously a big part of that process. Well, we talked about La Jolla, some high-end properties, cool things happen there, but if you are getting into a divorce situation, or maybe you know someone that is, it's good to have a team on your side, both on the legal front and the real estate front. Seth O'Byrne, our real estate elite here, and Cassandra, good to have you on the show as well. So hopefully we can get you on again soon. Certainly the radio show as well. Thanks, guys.